Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks. We're two geeks you got with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who loves to ask questions but never answer them. Frank, how are you today?
I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah. I was really hoisted by my own petard at that point. That was
You knew what you were walking into.
I walked right into that. This is what I get for not thinking about the intros until I say, "Hi, welcome to Beer with Geeks," because that's when they pop into my head. While I'm saying the customary intro, my brain is working on overtime to come up with the next words that are going to come out of my mouth.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's always very exciting when you clearly have thought ahead and you're like, "Oh, I know what I'm going to say for this one," and I'm like, "Okay," and you're like, "No, you don't get it. I'm not going to have the last minute momentary stress of realizing that I haven't thought this through. How am I going to finish this sentence that's already in mid-flight?"
It is the most stressful part of this podcast. It's kind of like I can't think of an equivalent, like playing a really hard song and the rest of them are easy. If you're doing like a concert, you're like, "Oh, that one song was tough, but now that we're through that,
smooth sailing from
problem."
Here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Had that tough meeting this morning, but the rest of my day is okay.
Rest of the day is free and clear.
Probably more relatable.
Well, I refuse to answer questions, but I will tell you about a beer that I'm drinking tonight, if that is of interest to you.
Okay, Frank, tell me what beer you're drinking.
Well, now I don't want to. Okay.
Well, that wasn't a question, though. That was more of a command.
It was more of a, an imperative.
Tell me!
I love drinking beer out of the appropriate glassware, and that is why it thrills me so much this evening to be enjoying a Southern Tier Pumking Imperial Pumpkin Ale out of the matching glass.
Oh, I could see the pumpkin. Oh, that's cute. What a nice glass.
Right? Southern Tier Pumking. Oh. Long live the king. Yeah, this is this is my favorite pumpkin beer, hands down. Did you hear that? I just picked a favorite of something, Tim.
Yes, so quickly too.
Yeah. No, this is
so tasty too.
And so tasty too.
Just like pumpkin.
Nice reference acknowledged. I love this beer. It is the best pumpkin beer that I've ever had. I just enjoy it to no end. I think I've had it just about every year the past 5 or 6 years here on Beer with Geeks. So that's all very exciting. I did recently see that my sister actually recently texted me they have a cold brew coffee pumpkin as well, which is a limited release, which I've never seen. And I'd love to get my hands on some of that. But I'm having the regular old pumpkin. They call it pumpkin pie in a glass, and I will stand by that. I think that's an accurate statement. So, cheers.
Cheers to you. I wish I had saved my pumpkin beer for this episode. We both would have had pumpkins. We would have turned into pumpkins at midnight together. But you know what? It's better that one of us is still regular to roll you home. Yeah, that's true. Plenty of time. Well, I am having a Shoveltown Brewery Smokey Maple. It is a brown ale. It's not, I wouldn't call it the most Halloween-y of drinks, but that maple, that it is made with real maple syrup, which really brings out the smoked malts, and it's like a foggy fall day. Well, that's or a misty morning, ooh, something like that. But Shoveltown Brewery, excellent beer, and and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And now,
fantastic,
Frank.
Yes, sir.
Now, Frank. Yes. Oh, Frank.
Yes, sir.
I have been led to believe that you have questions to ask me that may or may not have anything to do with Halloween.
They may or they may not.
I'm just floating that out there.
Yes, you have been led to believe that. Yes, it's your understanding. Yes, well, we are back with It's Alive, a quiz deck of scary movies. So it's it is scary movie trivia, and felt like that was the appropriate thing to do this time of year as we're getting ready for. We're in spooky season now. We're in spooky season, and thought that we should go through some spooky movie trivia. So I am going to ask you a number of these questions. How
many?
A number.
Oh, yeah. All right, good. Yeah. Well, you said you're sticking to not answering questions.
Yes.
You really following through with that thing I made up at the beginning of the show.
Really making me regret the words that came out of my mouth.
Well, yeah. What else is new? So, yeah,
it's kind of my move.
Yeah.
So,
remember that thing I said 20 years ago? Because I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's spooky season. Yeah.
So
anyway.
we're just going to go with an easy one off the top, just to give people a flavor for things. Some of these are multiple choice. Some of them are not. This first one is not, but I think it's a fairly simple one. If a waiter offers you a dish of liver, accompanied by fava beans and a nice Chianti, what horror film character would you expect to find working in the kitchen?
Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter.
Yes, that's right. So, so there you go. That's just
Silence of the Lambs, 1991.
Anyway. There you go. Wow. All right.
1991? 1990.
91.
Won the Best
91.
Picture Award. Oh, 91? So 1991 won the Best Picture of 1992.
Right.
Lost, Beauty and the Beast lost to Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Forever remember.
And that was one of the last times that an animated film got nominated before there were animated categories, right?
I think it was the thing that actually pushed them to make an animated category.
Okay,
no, maybe Toy Story might have been. No, Toy Story wasn't nominated for Best Picture, so I think it might have been Beauty and the Beast that pushed them to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go on with something else here. Some people believe in ghosts and paranormal activity, and others don't. That's the premise of this 1963 Robert Wise film about a team of researchers who go to study in an infamous haunted house to see what they can uncover. Name the film. Now there's 4 choices. The Haunt, The Haunting, The House on Haunted Hill, or The Legend of Hell House.
See, they're all basically the same story. Is it? What year is it?
1963, Robert Wise.
Is it The Haunt? No, it's not The Haunting. No, I'm going to go with The Haunting.
Final answer? The Haunting?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. I almost went with Hell House, and I knew that wasn't right. So what were the other choices?
The Haunt, The House on Haunted Hill, or Legend of Hell House.
Okay. The Legend of Hell House. Yeah, see, they're all basically the same, but The Haunting. I actually like the... I didn't know Robert Wise directed the original. That's crazy. That movie is scary, even by like today's like if you're good with your imagination scaring you, like as part of the movie, that movie's still scary.
In a Jaws like way, where like they're holding something back for your imagination, or
yes,
okay.
It's all just sounds and like doors moving and creaking. It's like really. Like I wouldn't call it cerebral, but it's like it relies less. This is pre this is pre Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so you're talking pre I'm going to show you everything kind of gore. And it's all the power of the mind. And the 99 remake with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Liam Neeson and Owen Wilson, not as good.
Gotcha.
Kind of fun, but not as good.
Okay. Does that one not do the same imagination, not leverage the imagination the same way?
It starts that way, and that's when it works, but then it dives into, it's 1999 and we have computers. And that's when it
Gotcha.
that's when it really starts. That's when it starts to lose its magic.
Okay. All right.
But it does have Owen Wilson going, wow, a lot. So
That's scary.
That's you gotta watch out. And Liam Neeson's like, hey, you gotta, I'm coming for you. You gotta watch out. So it's got that stuff going for it.
My brother Luke would love this. Wow.
My brother Luke, potentially a better actor. Wow. I actually like Owen Wilson quite a bit. We're making fun, but I like both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue.
All right. So this next one, The Brood, Scanners, The Fly, Dead Ringers, and Crash were all directed by the Baron of Blood, otherwise known as, and there's 4 choices, Todd Browning, David Cronenberg, John Landis, or Neil Marshall.
So Cronenberg, right?
Final answer?
Yeah, Cronenberg.
Yes, Cronenberg.
Yeah, it's Cronenberg. Yes. Yep. Oh man, the pauses are throwing me for a loop. I'm glad that you gave me choices because my mind, I always think David Lynch directed The Fly, and I know, and so I just always, but it's Cronenberg. I always get Lynch, Cronenberg, and Soderbergh mixed up. Those are like the ones.
Interesting. The Davids and the Bergs.
Always, and yeah, they're not exactly similar in style, but for some reason my brain just always like mixes them together.
I get that. There's other things like that where my brain sort of gets things confused for no good reason. So, okay. This super low budget indie horror film was shot for around $25,000 and has grossed more than $248 million worldwide, thanks in part to its pioneering marketing on the internet. Thoroughly unique. It's a faux documentary. Sorry?
Yeah. It's the Blair Witch. It's the Blair Witch Project.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's good. As soon as you said internet, I was like, that. The Blair Witch Project is responsible for viral marketing on the internet.
Yes.
Like people talk about like the found footage of it and all that stuff, which had been around, but Blair Witch really made it popular. But the viral marketing on the internet is like that. Like our world it literally changed the way we market things because of the Blair Witch Project. Yeah.
The movie itself is not traditional, and then the way it was marketed was certainly not traditional.
Nope.
And it's you're right. It did change the way things are done. And studio films will try and emulate that. Like how could you forget all the Joker stuff before The Dark Knight, right? And all those like fake viral videos that were going around and meant to drum up excitement for The Dark Knight back in 2008. And that's very much like Blair Witch 10 years before it. It comes right out of that playbook. So
well, you're right.
Yeah,
I actually hate that stuff. Isn't that fun? I hate the viral marketing because I feel
manufactured viral marketing, right?
Yeah, I feel like I have to watch it to fully appreciate the movie. That's always how it feels. I remember watching The Martian, the viral marketing stuff, and there was all these like interview tapes for them before they went to Mars, and there are jokes from the book that are in the viral marketing campaign, and I'm like, that's funny, but now I feel like, but that was I'm not getting the whole picture now as a devotee of the original novel. But anyway, it's a conversation for another day. I only saw Blair Witch Project for the first time last year. Actually, I watched it for a class. Watched it for a cult and indie filmmaking class, and I took the opportunity to watch it because I had never seen it, and I really enjoyed it for all the years and the memes and I really enjoyed it. It's pretty strong.
Right on. Still holds up. Okay. The Academy Award-winning 1998 film Gods and Monsters is about the life of director James Whale, who...
Frankenstein. He directed Frankenstein.
Yes. Who in 1935 made a film that is today considered his masterpiece. What is this film? Oh, wait.
Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein is his masterpiece, though.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to give that to you, just because you called it out
before
you knew the choices or anything, so we're absolutely going to give that to you. So you're 5 for 5.
Yeah. I do recommend Gods and Monsters if you've never seen it. Brendan Fraser and Ian McKellen. It's like it's really good because it takes the idea that James Whale was a closet gay man. He had to be at the time, and so he like falls in love with his like landscaper. But he like it takes the idea that he made Frankenstein subconsciously about the gay experience, and it's like it's really interesting movie. Would recommend.
Wow. Okay, next up, a down on his luck private eye takes a lucrative missing persons job only to find himself in over his head when dead bodies start turning up all around him. This Alan Parker film, starring Mickey Rourke and Lisa Bonet, begins in Harlem and reaches its chilling denouement in Louisiana voodoo country. Which film is it? Angel Heart, The Craft, The Serpent and the Rainbow, or The Skeleton Key?
I've never heard of this movie, and I'm going to say The Serpent and the Rainbow because that's a weird title, and I feel like that's something Mickey Rourke would be in.
It's actually Angel Heart.
Dang.
Angel Heart. 1987 was a real change of pace for Bonet, who had become well known for The Cosby Show. I feel like that's early for Mickey Rourke. No? I mean, it's definitely early for Lisa Bonet. Excellent supporting cast.
I don't know if it's early for Rourke. I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess not. The excellent supporting cast includes Robert De Niro and Charlotte Rampling. Great cinematographer Michael Saracen. Huh. Yeah, this sounds actually very interesting.
It sounds good. I mean, it sounds like a lot of private eye movies. Like they're hired, but guess what? There are more dead people. I'm like, that's literally every movie about a private eye. There's never just one.
Exactly. Never just one. Never just one dead person. Okay. Oh my God. This one, I'm not going to ask you this one, but I just want to share this with you just because it's mean. We have all seen the legendary shower scene in Psycho, 1960. During this scene, how many times does Alfred Hitchcock show the knife plunging into Janet Leigh's body?
Never. It never touches her.
Why is the answer on this? Because these are the wrong cards. Yes, never. It never enters.
Never.
Yeah.
Power of the imagination.
Yes.
Never enters your body.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the scene didn't play until Bernard Herrmann. Oh gosh.
I know. The composer.
Bernard Herrmann. I had it mixed up in my head. It had until Bernard Herrmann did the music. Right. And so, like, Hitchcock literally told him, like, you saved my movie. And you could count the number of times on one finger that Alfred Hitchcock said that to somebody.
Wow.
Like, yeah, so it's that movie, that scene hinges all on the music. Like, that music is everything. Watch it on mute. It just doesn't have the same effect. Like, watch the movie up until that point and then mute it if you've seen it before. It doesn't work the same.
Yeah. Way. Oh, yeah. Right. Watch that scene without the iconic literal stabs, right, from the orchestra.
Yeah, because it's the stabs of the orchestra that sell the motion.
Totally,
yeah, it doesn't work without it.
Totally, absolutely. This one I just listened to this the other day. Many rank The Exorcist as the scariest movie of all time. A large contributor to its creepiness is a unique soundtrack perfectly suited to the horrifying story. What is the name of the theme music? And who wrote it? If you can give me either one of those, I'll give you full credit. for either the name of the music or who wrote it. If you can give me both, great.
Pazuzu's Dance. I don't know. I actually have no idea.
It is Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield.
Oh yeah, no, I never would have done that. Oh my gosh, nope, not happening. But good music though,
great music.
Yeah,
Tubular Bells is like a standalone. Like apart from the movie, it's pretty well respected on its own. It, according to the card here, it was made into a single that climbed to number 7 on the Billboard charts.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Exorcist?
I've not seen The Exorcist, actually. That would be a good one to do to do like a future episode on, like where I watch. Or, I'm assuming you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I only saw it for the first time this season of Academy Rewind. Actually,
yeah. Okay.
I never watched it because I was scared, to be totally honest. And I like scary movies, but there's something about demon possession that it's scarier than like serial killers.
Sure.
I never saw it, and it was very good, but I can understand of a generation why it's the scariest, but horror, like comedy, is very subjective.
Yes.
and of its time. There are things that are kind of always funny, and there are things that will always be a little scary, but there's particulars that really become subjective. And I think Exorcist falls in that category. Though I did read a really interesting article a number of years ago about a guy watched it when he was young, maybe in his early 20s, for the first time. He said that wasn't scary, and then he watched it again 10 years later as a father, and he said that is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Because now it's not about just a kid who's possessed and the mother. It's about, what if my kid was possessed and what am I doing about it? And it just like changes the flavor of the entire movie. And I think that's important when it comes to comedy and horror and basically any story. Like, your context certainly affects the story and how powerful it is. So parents find it the scariest movie of all time, potentially. So there we go.
There you go.
You got more?
I do.
You got more for me?
I got more for you. So, what? Sweet, perky little Audrey Hepburn in a scary movie? Unlikely as it sounds, Hepburn starred as a blind apartment dweller in a 1967 suspense thriller directed by Terrence Young. What was the name of this movie? At First Sight? Ice Castles? Places in the Heart? Wait Until Dark?
Oh, some of those are actually real movies. Is it Wait Until Dark?
It is!
Yes!
It is!
Yes! Yeah, I knew it wasn't Ice Castles. That one was dumb. But the rest of those I think are real movies. But yes, Wait Until Dark.
Nice job.
I have not seen it, but I knew she was in one.
Well done. Well done. Okay. Tobe Hooper got the director's credit for Poltergeist, 1982. But that movie bears little directorial resemblance to the earlier work for which Hooper is best known. What was Hooper's 1974 cult classic?
Can I, before you give me the choice, can I guess Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Is it Texas Chainsaw Massacre? You'd be correct.
Yes.
And there were no choices for this one anyway, so...
Oh, wow. Well, that's amazing. Okay,
there you
great.
go.
Yeah, and that movie was Poltergeist, directed by Steven Spielberg. He denies it, but it bears little resemblance to Hooper's work because it was really ghost directed by Steven Spielberg, even though he denies it.
Yeah, and this card would bear that out. So it says exactly that, and why Hooper ended up taking any responsibility for why Hooper would end up taking any responsibility whatsoever for Steven Spielberg's overblown Ross Poltergeist is anyone's guess. Harsh.
Wow. The cards do not like Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don Root, who made these cards, is not a fan.
Wow.
All right. How are we doing on time? We got time for
We got about 5 minutes.
All right. Years after a grisly murder at a secluded mountain lodge, struggling writer Jack Torrance accepts the job of winter caretaker so he can write a novel without distractions. When his behavior becomes erratic, his wife sneaks a look at Jack's...
It's The Shining, but like, is that the question? Is it like, what movie is this?
There's a second. That's part one.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's
all
a
right.
second
Please,
part.
Stephen King's The Shining.
You've got half of it, so that's true.
Okay.
When his
I'm wearing my Shining T-shirt right now.
Oh, you are, aren't you? Look at that.
Yeah. All work and no play. It's the typewriter. Yeah.
When his behavior becomes erratic, his wife sneaks a look at Jack's manuscript and knows that something's horribly amiss. What's the film? You've answered that. And what has Jack written?
It's on my T-shirt. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Nice job.
I read that upside down. It's not like I didn't know it by heart. That's so funny. I am literally wearing my Shining T-shirt with the answer on it.
That's so
right
funny.
now.
I couldn't make it out. I couldn't make out what it was. But that is really funny.
That is really funny. Oh, I love The Shining. It's a perfect quarantine film because you really understand where Jack's coming from.
Boy, do you. Now more than ever.
Yep.
Okay. In one of the more memorable scenes in horror film history, a photographer gets decapitated in slow motion by a sliding sheet of plate glass in this blockbuster supernatural thriller. Which film was it? Audrey Rose, the little girl who lives down the lane, The Omen, or The Wicker Man?
The Omen.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah. The Omen. Yeah, that movie is scary.
That's one you're not going to forget.
No, you don't forget that. They remade it with Lee Schreiber in the early 2000s, something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty okay. It's David Thewlis and Lee Schreiber, and it's pretty solid. It's not as good as the original with Gregory Peck, but it's something. But you don't forget the beheading, because they do it in a different way in the remake. It's just not. It's not as good. But yeah, you don't forget that, especially when you're a kid and you watch it. Because my mom was super into those movies when I was young, and
really?
I remember watching it. Yeah, my mom's was a low key horror buff. Yeah,
I didn't know that about your mom. Now the remake was, you said Liam Schreiber, and was it Julia Stiles?
Yeah, Julia Stiles. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
Yeah, Julia Stiles, Lee Schreiber, and David Thewlis.
Okay. Which of the following horror films is based on this premise? If the person you think you see could actually be a non-human entity occupying the body of that person...
Oh, it's The Thing.
How do you know who's who?
Thing.
Based
on the Mountains of Madness.
Don't lock in your final answer yet.
Okay.
If the person you think you
John
see could
Carpenter's
actually be a non-human entity occupying the body of that person, how do you know who's who? A. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. B. The Stepford Wives. C. The Thing. D. All of the above.
Oh, it's literally all.
It's all the above. Yeah.
That's why I say don't lock in your answer.
You're not wrong, but.
Well, you said Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I was like, oh, man, yeah, why didn't I think of that? Stepford Wives. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. Oh, no. That's what I hate. That's why I hate as a teacher. I hate all of the above questions because it usually automatically signals that that's the right
If
answer.
That's an option. If that's an option, the odds are really good that that's the correct answer.
Right. And because I'm a terrible, terrible human being, when I give a multiple choice test, most of them, it's all of the above.
I actually think that's...
I put that on almost every test.
I think that's the fairest way to do it, because that at least makes it that it's an even chance, right? Like if every question has an all of the above or none of the above option, then at least it's all of them. So you actually okay, I need to... It's not just playing mind games with you. Because the worst thing is when there's only one question that has an all of the above or none of the above option, and that's not the correct answer. That's just mind games, and that's not cool.
That's right. That is not cool. But if you do it for all of them, one, you don't have to come up with a fourth fake answer. It's built in. But then if it's always there, then you know that can't always be the answer. It's just not going to be statistically unless you make it so. But why would you do that? So mean. All right, give me one more question and then we'll wrap this baby out.
One more and we'll call it a day. Director Roger Corman established his horror credentials in the 1960s with a series of films adapting the works of Edgar Allan Poe. House of Usher, The Pit and the Pendulum, Tales of Terror, and others. What famous actor starred in all but one of Corman's Poe films? Is it
Vincent Price?
Yes, sir. The options,
Vincent Price.
just for fun, the options were Lon Chaney Jr., Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, or the aforementioned Vincent Price, who is indeed the correct answer, leaving Mr. Timothy with a final score of 11 out of 13 correct answers.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice ratio.
Thanks. I honestly, 13. Unlucky 13, Friday the 13th on a Halloween episode. Nice job. I did better than I thought I was going to do. I apparently know more about horror films than I give myself credit for.
You know, we played this game before, and I tried my best not to repeat any questions. It's possible that some repeats got in there. Apologies if they did. But I would love to see, now that you are a master, now that you have a piece of paper on your wall that says Master Timothy, there it is. Yep. I would love to go back and compare, was your ratio higher this time now that you've seen a lot of these films that maybe you hadn't seen before? Not that you hadn't seen a lot of them before, but now you're more knowledgeable about film. You actually went to school for it. I bet you did better this time than you did last time, proportionately.
Yeah, there were 2 movies, The Exorcist and Blair Witch, I had not seen previous. All the other ones I had actually seen. But those 2 make a difference. Makes a huge difference.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Cool. Cool.
This was super fun. Happy Halloween, Frank. Tell us where the people can find us.
Folks can find us over at beerwithgeeks.com. From there, you can find links to support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio. You can throw us a couple of bucks and help us keep these shows going, because it does cost money to make podcasts, believe it or not. And so every dollar helps. You can also follow us on Twitter at beerwithgeeks. You can send us your show ideas or your reactions there. You can email us at beerwithgeeks@gmail.com. You can find us anywhere podcasts are found, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Google or Spotify or Stitcher. Wherever you like to get your podcasts, we are there. You'll find us in all those places. Please like and subscribe. Please leave us ratings and reviews. They make such a difference, and they make such an impact in helping the show get discovered. So tell a friend, leave a review, support us on Patreon if you can, and check out our other shows at thoughtbubbleaudio.com. That's where the rest of our network lives, and there is lots and lots of fun, sometimes geeky, but always fun and smart content. Actually, no, not always smart. Sometimes it's real dumb. Sometimes it's real dumb, but it's always fun. And that's at thoughtbubbleaudio.com. So all the shows are there. Thank you so much for listening and for supporting us in all the various ways.
It was very nice, Frank. Thank you so much. So until next time, happy Halloween and cheers.
Cheers.